Day 61 of 365 days of meditation. I meditated this morning, a little bit later in the morning, and not a lot to report. It was about an hour long. Listened to some relaxing music. I'll see if I can post a link to the music. It's on, actually I think it's on YouTube, yeah. So I'll post a link to that music if you're interested. And I usually just turn it down really low, just to sort of drown out any background noise that's occurring around me. But yeah, not really much to report. I did a bit more of the open-ended questions from the Conscious Education podcast that I listened to the other day. Just creating some open-ended questions like things like, what would my life look like if I lived in a state of ease? What are some things I could do so that I love my life more? What are some things I could do to support healing in my body? Any open-ended questions that are sort of framed in a positive way, rather than focusing on, how to eliminate something negative. It's more like how to cultivate something positive, or imagining what something positive would look like or feel like. So that's sort of the practice I prior to listening to the Conscious Education podcast episode that talks about it, I did a lot of that anyway in meditation, so it's just sort of a continuation of that. And I mentioned before that in Joe Dispenza's Changing Beliefs and Perceptions meditation, he does a bit of the trying to get you to think about what the future that you desire would look like, what it would feel like, the things you would do, how you would behave, what you would think. And it's posed in sort of the same open-ended questions. I might do some more digging to see why that is effective, because I don't quite understand the mechanism per se. So maybe I'll do a bit of digging there. That's it. It was actually I definitely felt agitated from time to time in the meditation, but it was a fairly emotionally uneventful meditation. I think one of the things that I'm definitely still working through, came up right at the end of my meditation, is the still sort of wrestling with the past and the idea of A, not continuing to go there, B, just sort of letting go, instead of trying to reconcile necessarily what's happened, just sort of letting go of it. And I don't know what it is exactly, but there's this sense of anger and outrage towards whatever it is that makes it possible for a child, in this case myself, at that point in my life, to experience that level of suffering with, in the throes of sort of OCD and depression. And I trying to figure out what it is that I'm angry at. Don't consider myself at all a religious person. I did grow up in a religious household, and I remember when I was younger, quite young, feeling this outrage towards what I thought was maybe God or something, and looking up at the sky and screaming like F you kind of thing. as though if there was some creator of everything, they're actually up in the sky. Of course, my model of the world at that time and my beliefs at that time were quite different, so there was definitely some rage there towards whatever it was that makes my existence possible. And I'm not entirely sure how to reconcile that. So, yeah, that's it for today. Anyway, if you are struggling with your mental health at all, talk to somebody. Again, is the first step I took towards a long journey towards feeling better. And I know without a doubt that had I pursued that talking to somebody more at the time and dug into it further, all those years back, I would have progressed a lot faster and save myself a lot of unnecessary suffering. So yeah, if you are in that state, the sooner you get help, the sooner you start to feel better, and the sooner you break really unhealthy habits of sort of thinking and maybe belief systems and perceptions about your life, and sort of habitual emotional states that you find yourself in. Because our thought patterns, our thought processes, and the emotions they evoke are definitely habitual, whether we're aware of it or not. So yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Take care.